I'm a rancher in Texas, widowed and lonely. On a fateful Sunday, I went to the convenience store to get my stash of whiskey. Nothing special. But then I met a beautiful Philippine lady, soft-spoken and a smile that melts the greatest worries. We got married after a while, a small wedding with just us and the local priest. It felt perfect, and she moved to my farm. But something was always strange. She never lets me take her pictures or have mirrors lying around the house. No birthday selfies, no vacation pics, not even at our wedding. She simply said she didn't like cameras or mirrors. I thought maybe she didn't feel beautiful, but to me, she was a 10. One day I saw her laughing with my favorite horse. It was such a pure moment. I recorded it and uploaded it to Facebook. It blew up. 7 days later, I got a comment, just 5 words. Oh God, no, no, no. Then I got a message from an old woman. Not long after I received a message on Facebook from the same person who commented. I knew it was the same person because I could see the same profile picture of an old woman. Her message to me was a shock, and I was left puzzled. She typed, "Have you seen anything strange?" I was puzzled. I responded almost instantly. What do you mean strange? Who's this? There was a silence, and it felt like the chat went dead. I was about to turn away, then her message came in. She said her name was Camilla, and that the woman in my post was her daughter who had been missing since the night before her wedding in 1996. I told her that couldn't be. I married Mona in 2021, but the most shocking part is a report the woman shared to me, saying Mona, my wife, was married in 2016. Her husband was found dead, drained of life. No wounds, but his heart was gone, according to the autopsy. The police questioned neighbors about who else lived with the man, as no one else was found in the house. Neighbors gave a clear description of her daughter. The old woman, Camilla, then went further by sharing a sketch, and my knees felt weak. I wanted to drink a drum of water almost immediately. The sketch looked just like my wife, Mona. Before I could type any word, Camilla continued saying she believes her daughter died in 1996, but her spirit won't move on, as it's been overtaken by a demonic force. I couldn't even believe what I was reading. Demons? Mona? Then immediately I started getting flashbacks on some strange events. I've woken up in the middle of the night to find her standing still in the middle of the night outside with her eyes wide open, just staring and not moving. This happened so many times I lost count and just brushed it off as sleepwalking. Also, I noticed bite marks on the horses, but then I took that as bullying from other horses. Then also remember the no picture and no mirror policy by my wife, which I took as her being shy of her appearance. My feet started to sweat, as did my palms. Then I don't know why, but then I asked Camilla what her name was, as I only call her Mona, the name she gave me. Camilla responded swiftly, Kajsa. I was surprised to see a different name. It was like I didn't know my wife or know who I'm with. Without a thought, I pronounced the name softly, Kajsa. Immediately the lights flickered. I could hear the screams of the horses from the barn. The air got chilly indoors. Then I looked around and couldn't find Mona. I grabbed my flashlight and headed to the barn to check on the horses, as their screams were alarming, and also hoping to find Mona there. On getting to the barn, my eyes fed on a sight that numbed my legs. My heartbeat could start an anthem. I saw all 4 horses dried up and looking pale and out of life. Their eyes white, their color gone. The air smelled like death, but there was no blood or injury, just death and soullessness. I ran back to the house, still can't find Mona. Or is it Kajsa? I went straight to my laptop, texted Camilla as fast as my fingers would type out the words. How did he die, the other man? She read the message, but didn't reply for a minute, but that minute felt like hours to me. Her message chimes in. He was found, drained of life, and his heart was missing from his body, even though there was no cut to his flesh. I fell to my knees, and immediately I heard a soft whisper coming from behind me. Honey. Out of my wits, I began to shed tears right there on my knees, knowing my love story would be my death. The woman I had loved all these while had been an entity from hell. Again, I hear from behind me, softly, Honey. I reached for my rifle under my bed, hoping to defeat hell with a bullet. Slowly I turned, scared out of my senses, and staring back at me is Kajsa, looking pale, staring back at me in the dark with glowy eyes that pierces my soul. I shouted and even stuttered, Get out, Kajsa, you devil! Saying those words, she screamed at me with a piercing sound that bled my ears and shattered my window before vanishing into the darkness. I was frightened to the bones and kept asking myself if it were over. Did I scare the devil away with a gun? I kept asking myself. I sat up all night, clinging to my rifle like a Bible, waiting for daybreak. For hours I kept running scenes in my head, thinking of the horses and what could have happened to me. Sunrise snapped me back to reality. I rushed to my laptop to text Camilla of what had happened. I texted, but no response. Waited hours and texted more, but no response. Starting to get frustrated, I kept texting and texting and texting. I could have sworn I sent over 1,000 messages before I got a reply which said, Hello. Happy to text this strange old woman that's no longer a stranger to me, I replied swiftly and said, The devil was here. But the reply I got broke my mind to pieces. The reply said, Hello. Mama died last night. She was fine and okay before going to bed, had a good supper, but this morning she was found shriveled up and drained in bed like a mummy from the Egyptian tombs. I read that message and knew Camilla saved me at the cost of her own life. I just sat there. My story ended, but Kajsa's? She's probably back at a store somewhere, waiting for someone to fall in love again.